Hey, Cam Newton, how you doing?
How you guys doing? I'm doing good.
Not the outcome that you wanted yesterday.
No, sir.
What was the mood of the team like on that flight home?
I was asleep. I thought I wanted it to be a nightmare so bad, and I just wake up and we was leading. But I think the Texans was a perfect indication of a good team with just a bad record. And I've been on record to describe us as that same way, but at the same time, each week is a different challenge. And Deshaun had a hell of a game, and Coach harped on that all week. Defensively, they presented challenges to us that another team did not, and at times we moved the ball offensively, but we weren't consistent enough. And I'm speaking more or less to myself. And we just got to keep taking these opportunities week by week to get better, and I think we will.
We were talking earlier that it seemed like you went away from the run in the second half. Was that the game plan, or was that being down?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I just think, for me to get to play from Josh and, how he deems that he wants to dictate to the defense or how he wants to attack, it's up to us as an offense how we need to attack. And, for us, the remedy has been what it was these last couple of weeks. But at the same time, if it calls for a different way of attack, then it's our job to execute. We had some success, but we just wasn't consistent enough. And, like I said, we learn from it and be better from it.
Cam, how do you guys bounce back from a tough loss like that, especially knowing that every single game, moving forward is critical to ultimately accomplishing your number one goal, which is probably making the playoffs?
Correct. There's no slogan, no word. There's nothing outside of for us we have to do it for ourselves, and I think everybody in that locker room understands that, and I wouldn't dare put the pressure on us to say, well, we got to win out. We're just going to take 1 week at a time and, win the game as it needs to be won. So, for us, whether that's throwing the football, whether that's passing the football, running the football, whether that's stopping them on defense, it just doesn't matter. We just have to get the job done.
Do you feel comfortable in this offense at this point?
I would say so. I think every day for me is another opportunity for me to get better. Do I know everything in this offense? No, I do not. But I'm striving to do that. And, whether it's from watching film to taking notes to asking the proper questions, that's my job to do. And I feel as if I'm more in control than I have been. I can't say that.
Cam, another thing that I noticed is that you're starting to build a great relationship, obviously, with Jacoby Myers. Had another great relationship with Demir Bird. How important is that for you, especially in the passing game moving forward, to make sure that you're not having multiple players that can make plays in the passing game?
Well, Bird made some plays yesterday. I mean, it was evident that, he was the main guy, and every time I went to him, he didn't disappoint. So the moment wasn't too big for him. Needless to say, of what people may, question at that receiver position. I said it before. We have the answers in that locker room. We just got to make sure that we continually, take opportunities to get better, trust each other, knowing, what each other's, thinking and theory behind certain things is, and that's what we have.
Cam, were you able to talk to Rex after the game?
Yeah, it's just devastating. It's just devastating, man. And so how hard he works, and I know, he's such a great guy, above all. And I know a lot of times as fans or people who follow the game from afar, you don't necessarily get the in-depth, relationships with the person, outside of what he may post on Instagram or what he may post on social media, what you may see on TV. But, Rex is one of the guys that, you kind of question or scratch your head, like, how does something like this happen to him? He brings his lunch pail to work every single day, extremely low maintenance, and all he wants to do is just win. And when you got teammates like that on your team, it's just devastating, like I said, just to see something like that happen to him.
And speaking of injuries, how much did that Isaiah Wynn injury hurt you guys at the end of that game yesterday?
I wouldn't say, it is what it is. It's easy to look back at something outside of for it to be in the moment, but at the same time, it's just communication. And yet through it all, I still had confidence in, the people who were out there at that time. And there's nothing else to be said besides, got to get better. And that's all we have to do.
Do you, Cam, I don't know if you've had a chance to think about it yet, but do you have interest in being a Patriot in 2021?
Man, I have interest in winning the Arizona Cardinals game. How about that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that I don't want to even harp or dwell or even think. I think my as the Bible says, my cuppeth runneth overeth, with just trying to focus on, the near future rather than the far future.
Cam, one of the things that I've noticed with this team, and I give you guys some credit, it definitely looks like you guys got that dog in you. But when do you get to the point and go, you know what, we got to go out there and we got to stop putting these wins together in the sense of knowing what is at stake here?
Well, I mean, it's easier said than done. You know what I'm saying? And, we got guys on this team that have been a part of Super Bowls. We got guys on this team that has been a part of successful seasons. And we have guys on this team that, knows how to win. So it's not like we're just going out there just saying, okay, we're just going to lose this one. And, that has to go into people's mentality, So, we want to win just as much, if not more, than anybody who follows us. Trust and believe that. And I think sometimes it's just kind of, lacklusterly said that, well, do you not know how important this game is? Yes, we do know how important each game is from this point moving forward. But at the same time, you just have to take the proper steps and, you have to understand and realize that, those guys that you're playing, they get paid to stop you too. So, it just really comes down to execution. It really just comes down to, how you go about each and every play and trying to play mistake-free, but at the same time, being aggressively in that manner.
I think I asked you last week about J.J. Watt, and you didn't really want to talk about it. He certainly was a factor for you yesterday when it came to you throwing the ball.
Yeah, he was. It's just frustrating at times because, he's there, but you cannot allow one player just to affect your decision-making and your thinking. So, for me, I just got to still go through my reads. I still got to throw the football. I'm not just going to go to the sideline and tell coach, and he asked me, well, why didn't you throw it? Well, J.J. Watt was on the right side, so I didn't throw it to the right. You can't play like that, So, he made a lot of plays, and that's another example of, they get paid too. They watch film too. They have great players on their team too. So what do? You just have to execute just a little bit better than they do. And he definitely was a factor in that game, and he definitely took away some opportunities for us to convert, some first and second down conversions and even third downs. And, his play, stood out.
One of the things that you talked about, a while back is that, your decision making and that having to be better. That looks like that it's been trending upwards, here for the past several weeks. What is something that you've been doing to maybe work on that or focus on that? So every time you step on the field, you're putting yourself and this team in a position where, you can have opportunities to win the football game.
Well, it's just a conscious thought. Anytime you have the ball in your hands, whether that's protecting the football while running or just protecting the football in the pocket. And, that's something that I've been harping myself on. And yet through it all, for us not to turn the ball over is always a key to victory. But for us to come up short yesterday, it just comes down to execution.
Cam, we talk about food constantly on this show, so I'm curious with the Thanksgiving holiday coming up, A, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? And B, being a vegan, what are your favorite selections for a Thanksgiving meal?
There will be some alternative meals for sure. And my family will be coming up here, so I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's like, everything that you probably have for your Thanksgiving, I could still do it, outside of like turkey. I don't think, people in the vegan industry has kind of, they've tried it, but it's
not so much.
I mean that you're not. I hope you're not having that tofurkey thing because that's ridiculous.
No,
it's a turkey log,
but,
Greg.
You got stuffing. You got collard greens. My family's kind of geeky when it comes to, having rice with everything. And my family does a great red rice with like sausage, but you can kind of, transfer that with either Beyond or Impossible meat. So mac and cheese, well, found a way to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Nice.
Well, you should get the recipe from Mrs. Wiggins.
The black mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Vegan black mac.
Yeah, my wife does an amazing macaroni and cheese. She puts sugar in it. So when I told Greg and Danielle, you might have known about sugar and mac and cheese. They were a little bit baffled.
It's not up my alley.
Yeah, it's a Southern thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's from the South, so it's a Southern thing.
You'd be surprised, man, how certain people's small little distinct ingredients to certain things kind of makes it pop even more, especially, when you talk about South and North and East and West foods traditions. You talk about, are you a grits person in the morning? Do you eat oatmeal? Is it cream of wheat? And is breakfast even important, on this side of the earth? And, being from the South, you've had it all. From brunches to breakfast to lunches to heavy dinners. On top of that, with dessert, the bread puddings, the red velvets, the banana puddings, it's easy to come up, 10 pounds, overweight, after a dinner at Boogie's household.
So look ahead if you can to Sunday, Cam, and to this Arizona team and what you need to do.
Man, listen, it's just the opponent changed. The way of winning does not change. Protecting the football, trying to be as physical as possible on the offensive side, controlling the line of scrimmage, having a turnover-free game, and just consistently playing a sequence of great football from offense, defense, and special teams. And I think we did that some yesterday, but it didn't show up enough. And yet, we just got to find ways to will ourselves and will ways to win the football game.
One of the things that we do here as fans of this Patriots team is that, there's like two sides of the street. There's a side that is very optimistic, like myself, thinking that, there's a chance you guys could go 6-0 through the remainder of the season. And then there's the other side, like Curtis, who thinks that, you'd be lucky to get 3 wins. Mega mind. What do you try to do as far as
a hit in the house, by the way? Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
See,
it's a hit, all right. Yeah.
It's a huge hit. But what do you try to do in that locker room? Because we're fans, so we look at it differently. But do you try to stay as optimistic as possible, knowing that, hey, this window hasn't shut?
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. And contrary to popular belief, and there will be talks and there will be whispers, there will be things that would be said throughout the week. But yeah, through it all, man, we just got to take one week at a time. And if we do that, we'll be fine. If we focus on trying to end every week 1-0, I think that's the only way to start. And before going to 1-0, we have to put the proper work in and having great practices and great execution in practice, so that it transfers to in-game success.
Did you feel like this team had the same kind of week of practice that you had before the Baltimore game?
Of course, yes. I mean, we've been having great practices. But at the same time, you have to understand, this is the NFL. AKA any given Sunday, you can get knocked off, and when you see teams have success, like other teams have success, and for us to be in the position that we're in. We just have to be a little bit better, and got to have a situational football where, our best is needed. And, it doesn't matter what the score may be. It doesn't matter how, we get the job done. It just needs to get done.
And did you feel like there was that same urgency yesterday that there was the week before?
You're asking me this because, yes, I do. There's nothing at this particular point in time where I could just say, no, we didn't have the urgency that we did have. But, while playing the game, you play the game as it's being played, and you try to make the adjustments as need be. I think at times, did we have a great tempo? Did we have great urgency? Did we play complementary football? Yes, we did. Did we do it enough? No, we did not. And I think that was the difference in winning and losing. The team who's most consistent and, getting those things done, protecting the football, playing complementary football, offense playing it off the defense playing off the offense, and, special teams is doing a great job with controlling the field position. Those are all keys to victory. Those are all measurables that when you add it up, or when you go back and look back and say, did we do these things right first? That's what comes down to winning football. So, did we do it yesterday? Yes. But like I said, did we do it enough consistently? No, we didn't. And that's what we just have to get better at.
Quarterback question of the week is brought to you by Northeast Men's Health, with offices in Dedham near Legacy Place and in Salem, New Hampshire. Northeast Men's Health, the experts in the sexual health of men, northeastmenshealth.com. And Texter wants a little bit of clarification when it comes to the shorts. They were wondering, was that purple and yellow or purple and green?
It's purple and green.
Purple and green. Okay.
Purple and green. And the reason for it is, look, we all know, being a professional athlete, you have means to, go to a store and get pretty much whatever you want, right? That's not fashion to me. If I see a person with a Gucci hat, Gucci shirt, Gucci socks, Gucci shoes, like that's not fashion. Anybody can just say, "Oh man, that's cool. Let me get that Louis Vuitton bag," and the same Louis Vuitton bag that everybody pretty much has. I want to get it, or let me wear the same J's that everybody else has, and let me put it on a red outfit rather than a green. That's not fashion. For me, it's just looking at something and saying, "Man, how can I really, bring it out or bring it to life and whatever my vision is." So that's something that, I really enjoy. And for it to be shorts, suspenders, bow tie, overcoat or over, sweater, those are just little things that I don't want to look like nobody else. And I think I've made myself perfectly clear that I don't want to look like nobody else. I want to be uniquely me, because for that person who sees me, I want them to say, like, man, he's different. Yeah, different is not bad always. Different is good. Being your own self is good. I don't want to be like nobody else. I want to promote, being yourself, being uniquely you. And I think if we have more people thinking like that, this world would be in a better place, rather than trying to be like somebody else and for all the wrong reasons when they don't even know how they managed to obtain those certain things. So
I liked it yesterday. It looked to me like you just finished surveying the Oregon Trail or something like that.
It's mining for
I'm the
gold.
leader of like some Boy Scouts or whatever. Right? I can start a forest, start a fire with 2 rocks.
Oh my gosh.
No,
You got your own swag, man. That's
sticks.
all it is.
Wait a minute, you're not starting it. You don't start a fire with rocks. You start it with sticks. You rub the sticks together.
We get the spark from the rocks.
No.
You chip them.
You got to get the spark from the rocks. What are we doing?
Ha.
You doing
Greg's not
everybody
a big camping
you don't watch
guy,
Game
Cam.
of Thrones? You
Yeah,
don't
no.
watch Vikings?
Oh, I enjoy. Although this I didn't like the way Game of Thrones ended. Were you
Me
happy?
neither.
Were you happy with the finale, or were you disappointed with it?
Me doing my research, and that last season, each episode was $15 million an episode. I figured, I said, man, if you gave me $15 million to do an episode, it would have had a little bit more depth into it than what it did. It was just so. But when you think about a great show for as long as it has been, it's no good way to end it, And I think a lot of people were upset about it, but yet through it all, it was such an unbelievable show and has so much depthness to it that a lot of people appreciate it and still do appreciate it, including myself.
What do you consider the all-time best television program all time?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's different genres though. You can't. That's just like saying who has the best album of all time.
drama. Like I say Breaking
Bad.
I say, you and I agree. Breaking Bad.
Wow.
All time the best.
Yeah, that was good. That was a really good show. When it starts off slow because it's not one of those shows that has music to kind of back it up. With the feel of when Jesse was going into like the meth house or the meth lab, and he was looking, and then all of a sudden, no music backed it up like Game of Thrones when Arya walked into a chamber or was faced with the faceless god or whatever. So if you can get past that, then it'd be good.
Speaking of television, I like the Downey commercial yesterday. That wasn't bad.
It was okay. I mean, this COVID thing is transformed and found many different ways to get certain things done. So it was all right.
All right, Cam. Well, listen. Best wishes for Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you again next week. Hang in there and get back at it.
Looking forward to it, man. You guys have an unbelievable week. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your families all over. And, Ace Boogie signing off. Appreciate you.
All right.
Same
Thanks,
to you.
Cam. All right.
Later.
There he is. Cam Newton.